And joining me now, Fox News national security analyst KT McFarland, Foundation for Defense of Democracy's President Clifford May. Let's start with the Taliban right now in Afghanistan. KT, turning to you first. What's going on? I thought we had negotiations underway. All was well.
No, negotiations aren't underway and all is not well. No, Afghanistan sadly now finally has a good president, but it's too little too late. Their civil war in Afghanistan has begun, and it is nothing that's going to stop it. The United States is there, but it's not going to prevent the return of the Taliban.
The Taliban returning, again, de facto, something that was accepted by this administration in leaving Afghanistan, right, Cliff?
Yes, that's right. And the Taliban has never been defeated. In fact, I would say we have not defeated any of the jihadist or militant Islamic groups that we've been fighting over the years. Sometimes they're not foremost in the news, but Al-Qaeda has actually expanded its orbit. And, of course, ISIS, we all know about that. And the Islamic Republic of Iran is about to be enriched and made more powerful by an agreement that I think is very misguided. And it's also interesting to note that the Mullah Omar, who has been the head of the Taliban, evidently has been dead for 2 years. Did our intelligence not know about that? And if they didn't, how good is our intelligence in places like Afghanistan or, for that matter, Iran?
Yeah, I don't know that we really want to test that and come up with a strong answer, because we might be very, very disappointed and deeply afraid of our enemy. Because apparently much of the Taliban, KT, did not know that Mullah Omar was dead as well.
Yeah, and you know, the Taliban is now in its second generation of jihadi fighters. So the older generation, the Osama bin Laden generation, that first generation that was there when September 11th happened, they're now moved on. There's now a second, third generation that's followed them. And I think what this shows is the enduring inability the United States has and our allies have had of defeating radical Islam. They now are in second, third generation leadership. And we keep saying, we've killed the senior leaders, we've killed the senior leaders, but there are more that keep coming up every day.
It became a very hip thing, did it not, Cliff, for the geniuses in Washington and the Pentagon, in the intelligence community, to talk about a generational war. It now has bled over to the White House, where the president likes to talk in terms of generational warfare. But as KT just said, it's generation after generation. And somewhere, this generation of Americans forgot how to fight, how to kill, and how to defeat an enemy.
And how even to identify its enemy, because we're fighting violent extremism in all its forms. If you don't understand the ideology of your enemy, if you don't understand your enemy's goals, his aims, what he thinks about you, it's very hard, if you don't know your enemy, to defeat your enemy. And I think that's true of the Taliban, it's true of ISIS, it's true of Al-Qaeda, and it's true of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
And let's turn quickly to the Iranian nuclear deal. I want to get your views, both of you, very quickly here. The president seems to have the support in the Senate for his deal. He's moving forward. And I just do not understand where everyone who's concerned about our allies in the Middle East, whether it is Saudi Arabia, it is Kuwait, whether it is Israel, whomever, we're blindly moving ahead as if there is no discrete judgment outside the White House about whether or not this deal makes sense or not.
Well, the president has assumed, as has Kerry, that Iran is not going to cheat, and by the time they get nuclear weapons, they'll have changed. If they're wrong, if Iran does cheat and never changes, we are in the worst of all possible worlds.
But why isn't that so clear to our Congress and to our Senate, and particularly Senate Democrats in this country?
Well, I think that's interesting to see why Senator Schumer has said now, in a very thoughtful explanation, why he's going to vote against this. You know why?
But he's not whipping votes.
But he's not whipping
trying to
votes.
get anyone to align with him.
Well, the problem is Barack Obama is going to be long gone. John Kerry is going to be long gone by the time these people have to face the electorate again for having given Iran nuclear weapons and allowing a nuclear arms race in the Middle East.
Clifford May?
I would say this. Yeah, last word is this. I'm not convinced that we won't see a fairly strong bipartisan majority in the Congress, Senate and House, disapproving of this deal. Not enough to kill it, but disapproving of it, which means most Americans and most of their representatives will say what Senator Schumer said, and as KT says, it's a very good and very thoughtful essay, that this is a bad deal for a lot of reasons. And I haven't given up either on Senator Schumer at least trying to educate those of his colleagues who are educable. And there are those who haven't yet made a decision, and I think they may decide, I can't approve this deal. I know it's bad.
I have to tell you, I take no comfort whatsoever, Cliff, in us being able to say at some point as a nuclear explosion takes place somewhere in the Middle East. You know, we came so close. We could have overridden the president, but, you know, if this is the best we can do, the best is not enough, in my judgment.
Or not in the Middle East, because ICBMs are not meant to deliver nuclear warheads in the Middle East. They're meant to deliver them to other continents.
But they don't get them, Cliff, for another 5 to 8 years. You should take comfort in that. Cliff,
Spend your money.
Thanks so much for being here. KT McFarland, thank you.